was February 5th, 2023, and we're back. Loddy and Mac,
Hemingway
Sports
over
on the
here.
SAC. This entire episode brought to you by Skygazer Brewing. In the house tonight, John Tice. Thanks, sponsor. We have another sponsor we're working on in the house. We're not going to name him, but we're waiting for a check to come in. What a week in sports. College basketball ramping up. Baseball players on the way to Florida and Arizona as we speak. Let's talk Yanks. Frankie Montez ready? Our big pickup last year, a little trade deadline deal. What do you think about Frankie, guys?
Be shocked if he throws a pitch this year at what they're saying. If you read the reports, probably shoulder surgery at some point, but anytime Cash trades for pitchers, especially from the A's, Sonny Gray, etc., we know how that usually ends up. They got rid of 3 of their top 20 prospects. I think 2 of their top 10 pitchers in that trade. So there goes your depth. And another reason why they still don't have a left fielder is because they have no tradability.
Loddy waxing poetic over here, joined by Loddy, Angry Jay, and the Dahnfather. Commish on the DL tonight. He was a game time decision, and the strep test came back, and he's out. So we're gonna make up for the Commish. But Loddy, how'd you feel about Sonny Gray when we went to the Stade like 4 years ago?
Well, I was ready to fight him, definitely. And then Girardi was next. That combination did not make for a pleasant evening in the Bronx a few years back. But I think Sonny Gray's gone on to better things since he left New York. He just couldn't handle the pressure cooker.
Well, everybody's got to get a haircut. You got to cover up the tattoos, and you got to be, the All-American boy to go fail there. Kevin Brown, Randy Johnson, all these guys. Can't we just let him have long hair? This Rodon, he looks like a Boy Scout now. I don't want this guy. I want a hitter. Can we get a lefty hitter in there? Angry Jay.
You like the lefties now, huh?
I always liked them,
Okay.
but I wasn't going to sell out for Greg Bird like you. Greg freaking Bird. Lottie's running around. Lottie was racing our
Andrew
neighbor
Miller
in the
says hello.
cul-de-sac. Lottie was racing Fran in a cul-de-sac with his Greg Bird jersey on. Oh, my God. Angry, what do you think about Rodon, Sonny Gray, Frankie Montas? What do you got?
I'll wait until that sounds good, huh? I'll wait until Rodon.
Thanks for coming. Stay hot. Throw cash over here.
Throws a pitch for us.
It's a professional whisperer.
Sonny Gray, I could do without. But this Montas, this is typical Yankee garbage. You just said pitchers are starting to show up. And we get a report now that he might need shoulder surgery.
The guy we traded for.
What the hell's been going on for the last 4 months? What's been going on?
He didn't might need it months ago. Now he might need it.
So with his rest over the past 4 months, he's going to need shoulder surgery. Did you guys see his quote? Cashman's quote?
No.
From the other day? He said Yankee fans are a little, quote unquote, a little unrealistic, and they think last season was a disappointment. And that it wasn't last year wasn't a failure. They made a great run. Basically,
who said that?
Yes, Cashman. I can't believe it's not catching. He said,
Great run.
He's
made a great run.
Yeah. I'll find the exact quote for you.
They did make a hell of a run.
Yeah. Well, he said they made another great run at it.
They gave the
came up a
Astros
little
everything
short.
they could handle in that 4-0 series.
Yeah.
The Astros who added Abreu?
Yeah.
Dahnfather, do you even care about any of this?
Nope. But I'm glad the Yankees made a la Red Sox kind of transaction, signing a post-prime pitcher with a bad shoulder, and it's awesome.
They knew he had a bad shoulder when they traded for him.
It's like Correa.
Are you going to be like one of these Red Sox guys? Of course you are, because you're all the same. That acts like you're not even interested this year, like you're going to be out there golfing, not paying attention to the games and who's pitching. I mean, Mosey's classic. Mosey goes to a World Series game last year. Hey, who's pitching tonight? For who? You're one of those guys, aren't you?
Basically, yeah.
What a bunch of losers, dude.
I am.
What a bunch of Lansdowne Street losers.
I got the quote for you. This was him on the radio the other day. Quote, it felt like the way our fan base reacted, we got knocked out in the first round. The reality is, we had a hell of another run at it.
Stop it. Stop.
Yep.
I love it. I love the fact that Yankees expectations are.
We're bringing in Chad Govain to be our
where they are
closer
now.
in Game 3 of the Division Series.
Speaking of Chad, I didn't like the Chad Green loss there.
That's another great one. That's another terrific. No,
goes with Donnie Baseball up there?
Mattingly's up there. Chad Green's up there, but we got another guy with spin rate. And the guy we just gave up 2 good prospects for can't pitch.
Cool.
You really had a problem with Chad Green not coming back to the Yankees. You know how many big home runs he gave up the last couple
I
of
don't
years?
care. Big arm.
Yeah, big arm.
Well,
All right.
hey, listen.
Everything was straight, though.
Yeah, they pulled a Quantrill with him. They pulled a Stanton with him. The guy was in
Tanyan Sturts.
there. He was in there way too often. He was Quantrill, Stanton. Who was the other one? Who was the other one that pitched every day? Jay, who was it? Come on. It'll come to us. It'll come to us. So no. Somebody decent, a righty. All right. So
Nelly.
So the last time I was at the Stade, I went with my great friend and neighbor Loddy, and then a couple of bums who gave us a hard time. Bunch of non-baseball guys made me drive.
Good parking spot, though.
Oh, right behind stands, right?
I think we were right in stands.
Yeah, I needed a can opener to get out of there, but we did it. So George Springer goes 5 for 5 that night, and he was hurt. And I learned that they ratcheted his arm up so that it wouldn't straighten out every time he played. Now you think about the extension you need to hit the ball far and hard. He couldn't extend it. They made it so he couldn't extend. That night he had 5 hits. So this is going to lead into load management. And Angry Jay, did you see Richard Jefferson's?
Think about David Robinson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, Jefferson just basically said that he had saved up to go to his first NBA game. His hero was David Robinson, and his dad actually couldn't even afford 2 tickets. Believe it or not, he dropped them off at the stadium
With 1 ticket and $5?
Yeah. So he dropped them off, and it was a big deal to see him playing. He just talked about how devastated he would have been if David Robinson didn't play, because back then they all played 80-something games. So I'll give Jefferson a bunch of credit, because he actually lit into the players nowadays of how they're coddled with, the fact that just talk of maybe only playing 72 games now, which, by the way, the NBA did a couple years ago with the COVID thing, even though it was a little more condensed. But they bent over backwards for these guys with they don't play as many back-to-backs anymore. And Jefferson kind of alluded to that, too.
Well, you wouldn't want them to play while they're sore.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, because, the professional athlete isn't supposed to be any different than just the normal guy that's working a 9-to-5 job.
But in high school, if you get snow, you might have 4 games in a week.
Yeah. And these guys, they're getting paid $30, $40 million a year. I don't, like I mentioned at the last podcast, I don't know what they can do about it other than maybe giving, refunds to, finding teams isn't really going to do it, because guys they'll just make up other excuses on the day of the game. That
A trip down the stairs.
it's always, you ever notice now guys their hamstring just doesn't feel right, so that, a lot more,
little tweak.
Yeah, so.
Little tweak.
But Jefferson lit into him, and he talked about how important was his first NBA game ever to see was David Robinson, because that was his hero, and, he played back then because they played every night.
You know what? I'm proud of Jefferson for doing that and not, stroking everybody's ego like everybody else does. These guys are spooning each other before, during, and after the games, and Richard Jefferson told it like it is.
Those TNT guys get after him, though, too. Isn't Barkley pretty outspoken about all that stuff?
Yeah, and he takes a bunch of crap for it. I think it's beyond great entertainment. He's honest. I like him. And even when he's wrong, I don't mind it. He goes for it.
You want to know why the Knicks have been so bad for the last 25 years? The New York Knickerbockers? Because there's no load management when visiting teams go to the Garden. Everybody plays. They don't want to miss that game. So I think my theory is that's why the Knicks stink, because they always play against the other team's best players. That's the only reason why. It's the only reason why.
It's not Thibodeau and Randall?
Well, don't get me started on them.
Randall,
we're talking about load
all-star
management.
reserve. Come on.
Can't stand him.
It's not Thibodeau?
Can't win with that guy.
No, he got to go. Joey defense has got to go.
Jalen Brunson. It's his team.
He's not going anywhere. They got team-friendly contracts. He's an all-star.
I know.
He's locked in.
I don't know if you guys want to talk about it, but you got obviously Kyrie's been in the news. And speaking of load management,
What a teammate.
Like, yeah,
Hold on. I want to talk about Kyrie, but one last thing on load management. I think this is something enlightening for listeners. The Dahnfather and Loddy were with me when we learned this past Sunday. True story. So there's a professional athlete who's a big name who has a chip, and I'm assuming most of the big contract guys have it, who has a chip attached to his body, which sends information to a computer. And if he runs at max speed a certain distance or time in the game, it's a baseball player, in the game, he has no say about it. He will sit the next night. If the computer says he has reached max speed so many times or so many steps. True story.
Really?
That is a true story. That's just taking analytics to a whole nother level. These performance trainers and everything. But it was a great story because I was there. Very interesting. I had never thought about that.
Well, Adam,
but that's where we're going.
There's it's like a microchip, kind of like a dog.
Well, if you
I got one in my dog. If he gets lost,
Not embedded in his.
They're
body.
stuck on him. If you watch a Rutgers game, you're going to see there's a patch attached to their lower back. All the guys, right? So they're everyone's taking information just to have it. But
That's fine.
But in the big leagues, it's a baseball player. In the big leagues, baseball too, by the way. Like if you run a certain distance at max speed, this particular player will not play the next night. No say in it to protect the investment.
well, that's another thing about load management too. I saw Steph Curry came out because I had mentioned last week how they played the Celtics, and then the next night they played Cleveland, and they gave him off. He said he came out and said he wanted to play, and he's been told by the organization that they are going to take certain days off.
And now he's hurt again. Hurt his knee last night.
Yeah, well, I mean, he actually got hurt. It wasn't just to rest him.
Right.
I'm glad you mentioned it because Bobby Mack, when we were listening to that story, he did like these players want to play.
Not all
It's-
of them.
it's- not all, but
Anthony Davis couldn't be reached for.
Yeah,
that.
I'm talking about baseball. A lot of these baseball guys, they want to play, but these performance analytics and trainers, they're the ones that have the say with the front office.
John Tice, Skygazer Brewing. Coach Tice, if your college coach, Howie Dickerman, said, John, you played way too hard last night. We're going to give you the next game off. How would you like that?
That would never happen.
You hear that? We're talking about a real man here, Skygazer Brewing. That it wouldn't happen. You go down to 12%, you're going to run into him.
I'll give you a quick Howie Dickerman story. He used to make the kids that couldn't participate, and this is from a really good source, get white T-shirts, and they would marker a red cross on the back of the T-shirt, and they would have to stand on the sideline the whole time.
Is that true?
Yes. Right? That's true, right? Okay.
I like
I know
it.
I
That's
wasn't
bully-
making that up.
that's bullying
I mean, you
now.
can't get away with that nowadays, but
That's bullying now. You're going to make
you're
somebody feel upset. They're going to be upset. You don't want anybody upset. Speaking of upset, I get upset every time I hear the name Kyrie Irving. What were you saying, Angry?
I was just going to say, we have to come up with some kind of solution. If we got any of our listeners want to chime in, tweet us or whatever, like we need a solution on something they can do for load management. Like I was just suggesting lowering the prices if stars are out, because people go to see the star. I mean, I'm not going to watch the third string shooting guard for Milwaukee. I want to go see Giannis play. That's why I'm going. And if he's not playing, it's a problem. So instead, I take it we're against it, the load management thing. Like what can be done for the consumer?
What can you do? The teams are not going to lose money. That's not going to happen. The CBA is February 8th? The CBA expires this week. They're about to kick the can down the curb again, but they got to work something into that for the teams. They're not going to do anything for the consumer.
I mean,
No, it's the
unfortunately.
players that got to give back there somehow. I mean, even if it's like a giveaway with your ticket stub and you go to Pizza Hut or something, and know how you get 100 points, whatever.
I don't. But
Jeff
so
Calhoun couldn't be reached for comment. He missed a layup once. We're going for a Hyundai. I would have had a free pizza.
we would have
Freaking Calhoun.
is it half price if Steph Curry doesn't play? They just refund you half your ticket price. Is it? Do you put something in the contract where it says the guy has to play 75 games?
Yeah, unless deemed
and that's so your
unhealthy.
contract's has incentives in it,
Incentive-laden
or
contracts, yeah.
like
Angry. I don't hate the idea of. You just made me think of that. Like, you can't give the people money back. Owners are not giving money back. But you could give a voucher for a future game. And by the way, it'd be good business. It's like throwing out a $50 gift certificate to like Carmen Anthony's or whatever it was called back in the day. You're going there, you're spending like $400. You know what I mean? So like, if they give you a $50 voucher for a future game, if X player is not playing, but
it's something. It's something. But like, you just go there and like. Jimmy Butler's not playing. It's a problem.
You talked about the fan. You mentioned when you went to the hockey game, right? And those guys didn't play. And I took these guys here know how big of a Celtics fan my son is. He's the biggest Celtics fan ever. I took him to his first game maybe 4 years ago. And he had his Kyrie jersey on. Hayward wasn't playing. He was already hurt like he always was. Mm-hmm. We get to a restaurant 5 minutes away from the arena. It comes out on Instagram, Kyrie's not playing tonight. My son took off his jersey, threw it on the floor of the restaurant, and said, I want to go home. He was bawling. He was maybe 8. He was bawling, saying, I didn't want to go to the game anymore.
Who was more composed, you or him?
I felt so bad for him. But then our good friend Burns.
What did you do, though? I want to know what you did.
Our good friend Burns hooked us up, and he got to get. That's where he got to the locker room, got to meet. Now Jaylen Brown's his favorite player, but that was one of the worst nights I've ever had.
Jeffy, I could picture you taking off the jersey, but not Lucas. Lucas would take it in stride, and I could picture you saying, Lucas, we're out of here.
He was so mad.
That does
So
suck.
mad.
Oh, he loves the Celtics. All right, so Kyrie. Speaking of Kyrie, I don't know if you guys heard he wants to play for a different team soon. Playing with Durant isn't good enough.
Isn't the NBA getting really hard to root for, to
Hey,
watch?
is
I mean,
the
we
net-
love basketball.
Depends who the guy is.
Yeah.
Is the Nets kind of like the Red Sox, though? I mean, like,
Whoa,
this
whoa,
guy
whoa.
Simmons.
Beep, beep.
Simmons. What a joke.
Wow,
like,
he's-
Is it just the fact that nobody wants to play with Ben Simmons? Like the guy's just a cancer and
No.
people don't like him? Or, I mean,
No.
Kyrie wants-
How come Durant
sucks.
hitched his wagon to Kyrie?
because
Durant.
they're like BFFs off the court.
how could you be BFFs with somebody who thinks that the world is flat, the earth is flat?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, let me throw this out there. Like
It's not.
I
Yeah.
had mentioned it to you guys before. Is he the worst, Kyrie? Is he the worst teammate of all time?
Future podcast topic for sure. Worst teammate of all time.
First
He's
round
got to
pick,
be
though.
up there.
First round pick for sure.
Got to be up there.
Angry. Would you take him on a Celts right now?
No.
I wouldn't touch
Hell,
him.
I'm going to tell you
hell
something.
no.
Though. Shot for how about 1 month in the summer? You get,
Hell no.
he can. No,
I don't even want him on our
He
passing
makes
out
buckets.
towels.
He makes buckets. Big ones.
Oh, let me tell you something. One of the most talented players you'll see
Ever,
see. Like
ever.
skilled, the skill level is off the charts.
Would you take him on your
You
college
like
team?
A-Rod,
No.
but you don't. You like
No, I
A-Rod,
don't.
but you don't like Kyrie.
A-Rod
What are
didn't
you
take
talking
he didn't
about,
take
dude?
days off.
Freaking
dude. He
hypocrite over
didn't
there.
take
Year off.
days off.
An
What are you
angry hypocrite.
Did he take a year off?
No, he was
Not
suspended.
not on his own
Freaking
accord.
angry hypocrite over here.
not even close.
Not close.
A-Rod, why was A-Rod a bad teammate? I mean, it's not even the same.
Why was he a bad
Yeah.
teammate?
Well, hitting home runs and showing up every day is
Oh
bad.
my God. Why was he a bad teammate?
This guy doesn't even play.
Ask
doesn't
Jeter
even
why he was a
play.
bad teammate.
I would love to. Can we get him on the podcast?
I called him last week. We got a
right.
shot.
Try to get his wife to come too.
Egotistical, me guy.
Oh, come on. I mean, he's not even the same category as Kyrie.
I feel like
Are you kidding me?
baseball is a different sport, and you know I'm not an A-Rod guy, but
Come
I think
on, man.
in basketball it just changes your team and your organization when you
Just-
get a guy like that.
He
Who, the
wanted
best
he,
bucket getter in the
Nobody's
world.
disputing it.
he
But
wanted to
he
get
doesn't
out.
want to play.
Yeah, he wanted to get out of Cleveland because he didn't want to be in LeBron's shadow. He goes to he totally sabotaged the Celtics season. They quit. Like watching him play in Milwaukee, we were watching at Mosey's house. Remember now? He literally like was the fourth quarter. He's like walking over, shaking hands with time left in Game 5. Like he was a loser.
By
He's
the way,
a loser.
you said he wanted to get out of LeBron's shadow. Now he wants to be traded because
Now
he
he
wants to
wants
play
to
with LeBron again.
He promises the Celtic fans in front of the season ticket holders, yeah, I'm playing. I want to be back.
I
2
hope he
weeks
goes
later,
to the
like, yeah,
Lakers.
I'm out of here.
I like the A-Rod comparison. I think it's a solid comparison.
Great actor too, by the way.
Oh my God! And now he's here. Now he's here. And they
Uncle
just
Drew?
asked him. They asked him to play one freaking season.
Snubbed by
one
the
season.
Academy, by the way.
One season, and this loser's already. He plays 40 out of the 53 games, and he's like, I'm out of here. If you're Durant, how do you feel?
He didn't take performance-enhancing drugs.
Oh, so this is A-Rod and
He never
I'm
cheated.
just
Kyrie?
saying. Future. This is a little
Listen,
teaser
dude,
for
like,
down the road. Worst teammate
Andy
of all
Pettit
time.
took him, a guy who's a Bible thumper. Like, come on.
Yeah, and he said he did, and he said he apologized.
So did A-Rod. It just took him a little longer.
Nah, he misremembered.
That was it's not the right guy, dude. It's not the right guy.
I know it's not the right guy, but he's
Come on,
lumped
you're
in with those
throwing
guys.
stuff. You just hate A-Rod for whatever reason.
Everybody hates A-Rod.
I love the guy, dude. We
Well,
should
figure.
MVPs.
Everybody hates you.
MVPs. You won us a championship.
What
They
a
should
clown,
Put a
dude.
statue up.
He wanted to be traded too.
Jesus Christ. No,
you
he
know,
didn't.
He went,
Yeah,
no,
he
he did.
did.
He went
From when?
From Texas. And first of all,
No,
he
they
went
just
to Texas
traded him because they didn't want-
he got
They didn't want to pay him anymore.
He got
That's
every
right.
cent out of that contract because he went to Texas because of whatever tax or income tax.
No state income tax.
Yeah, to get every
because
last
everybody,
penny.
everybody's turning on $250
What a
million.
freaking loser, dude! He could have stayed with the Mariners. We would have never won one. That's the truth.
If they came anywhere the same amount that Texas was offering, he would have stayed there.
All right, let's take a random sport: Kyrie versus A-Rod. If they're in a battle of the network stars, like who you taking?
A-Rod, because Kyrie won't show up.
I'll take
Kyrie's
A-Rod in
nimble.
the battle.
Kyrie's
Battle of the
nimble.
Network Stars. A-Rod.
Kyrie's nimble. Football.
A-Rod.
Not even close. What position?
He was a
He
quarterback.
was a quarterback
In Miami.
Yeah, he got offers to play the.
You would have never heard of Deion Sanders if Kyrie played football. I'm telling you. Prime time. It'd be called Showtime.
All right, what are we doing here?
Freaking
go.
Showtime.
What
All right,
else we
whatever.
got?
All right, let's get really serious about
worst teammate of all time.
A-Rod. All right, let's talk about some serious sports. The Pro Bowl.
Well, nice. Been waiting for this. That's why we did our pod today, right? Pro Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, I'm upset. As a youngster, I liked the Pro Bowl. I liked the fact that we're going to Hawaii. It was a big deal. They played almost a normal game without crushing people. No Charlie Hustle plays into the catcher, nothing like
Sean
that.
Taylor was the rare exception.
Oh my God, that was a hell of a hit.
Yeah, that was great.
He
Yes.
hit the punter.
Who was that against?
I don't remember the punter's name. Do you?
No, it wasn't Matt Turk, was it? No. No, I don't. I
Sean-
remember the play.
Sean Taylor was an animal.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
Was he
there
the
to
one
win.
that was gunned down,
Yeah.
sadly? Yeah.
He was something
Number
like that.
21?
Yep.
Oh, man. What a sad thing. But anyway, Pro Bowl. Why are they even bothering? I mean, I think it was Joe Torre who stayed high. He cashed up in the baseball All-Star game where he walked across home plate and said, we're all out of pitching and maybe we should just go home, everybody, even though it's tied up in extra innings. Like, what is that? I mean, if the best in the business are going to play a game, shouldn't the best in the business play a game?
Right.
Now it's flag football. Derek Carr's the best passer of all time now because he's hit a certain number of targets or something like that. Guy sucks.
Well, you made it, Mac. You just said the best in the game. I mean, the AFC starting quarterback is Tyler Huntley. He threw 2 touchdown passes this entire season. He is a starting quarterback. While Josh Allen's golfing at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am right now,
I thought he was too hurt to participate.
his arm is too hurt, his elbow, but he can still golf. It's not as intense.
The Pro Bowl and the All-Star stuff, these exhibitions, they've gone by the wayside, I think, besides Major League Baseball, because you still got to get in there and hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, right? But the NBA All-Star game is, 180 to 175. There's obviously no when we were kids in the 80s, those guys tried to win those games.
They were proud to win them.
about it.
They were proud to win them.
Yeah, Pro Bowl's a joke, and it's been a joke for a long time. NHL, I think, is basically a skills challenge if anybody watches that type of stuff.
Nobody does.
But
What's that?
baseball, I'll still tune into the All-Star game for the introductions and seeing all the guys. But
That's about it.
the rest of the sports, zero interest from me.
The only interesting part is that the Mannings are coaching the teams. That's the only thing I think that is even going to be
All
fun.
these gimmicks,
Having them mic'd
yeah.
up during the game, that's the only worthwhile part of the game.
It's
But flag
entertaining,
football,
but like you said, it's a gimmick. Like it's
not
just
football.
cute. Yeah.
By the way, the guy that Sean Taylor hit was Brian Moorman, who was the
yeah.
punter for the Broncos. Josh Jacobs seems to be a big fan of the Pro Bowl this year.
what was his quote? Angry?
This blank is stupid.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Typical Raider. What a naughty trash mouth.
But seriously, the All-Star games in general, every single one of them is horrific.
Are
the
there
best
any
one, like
Browns?
Loddy had mentioned, is the NBA, or excuse me, the MLB one, because the pitcher actually tries to get the hitter out. Like, they don't play defense. The hockey is hockey, and I mean, this thing is comical. They should really just get rid of it.
The last
Just name an All-Pro team.
memorable
Right now.
moment I
There's too
remember
much money,
in
yeah.
any of these games is when Torrey Hunter robbed Barry Bonds, and then when they were when Torrey was running in and Barry was like rounding first. Remember he picked him up? That was kind of neat.
Randy Johnson, John Kruk. You know, there's little things like that, but for the most part, it's competitive.
I got in an argument with somebody the other day. They were telling me that was Larry Walker that was being a clown with putting the thing on backwards or whatever.
It did. Kruk? It was Larry Walker.
Was it Larry Walker?
But helmet on backwards.
What did Kruk had a moment though?
They threw one over his head. Johnson threw it over his head. Over Kruk's head.
Yeah.
Okay, so somebody that we know played in the minor leagues with Randy Johnson before he got control, and the guy we know is a lefty hitter. Like, can you imagine facing that guy before he
with that release
command
point
the ball
right outside?
Oh my God!
You know who always hit him though?
Donnie
ball game.
locked in again.
I heard a great debate, Mac, on the radio the other day talking about
Donnie.
Talking about the Pro Bowl.
It always comes back to
Number
Donnie.
23.
You're going to talk about something else after we brought
Yeah,
we already had enough
talking
Donnie
about that.
baseball. We have to. He's not cash. We talk about him every week.
Yeah, we do talk about it every week.
They said, should people who all list Pro Bowls on their resume, which is a joke, they said, should we only consider a Pro Bowler those who are elected starters, not the guys that play the game?
Yes.
I thought that was a great point. Like, Tyler Huntley should not be a Pro Bowler.
Correct.
It's going to help him when he gets to the table, though.
Yes, it is.
That's stupid.
There's a huge
He's a
difference.
Pro Bowler.
So there's
Give me
a there's a
Mac
huge
Jones was a
difference.
Pro Bowler last year. I mean,
what's next, Danny Dimes?
There's a huge difference between being a Pro Bowler and being an all pro.
All pro, yeah. Big difference.
that means something.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's but with the media. Pro Bowlers, fan vote, player vote. Wasn't it in the NBA I saw something where everybody in the league except maybe like 7 guys got a vote to be on the All-Star team?
yes,
Through the
ballots
player-
cast for him.
Through the player vote. Like they don't take that seriously.
The way they do it today, Danny White would be like a stud. Remember? Get punt
What
over.
a punter. What a punter. Number 11.
Honestly, though, if you turn the clock back, not to be a Cowboy homer, though, but like, how great is that story? I mean, there needs to be a documentary on him. There needs to be a 30 for 30. That guy's card said P/QB for years, and then eventually Roger retires, and he steps in, and he leads us almost to the promised land. Big playoff win against the Falcons. I remember we were down
3 years in a row, they
Tony.
lost a championship
Hey,
game. though.
relax. But, like, seriously, the guy was the
almost
punter,
to the
dude.
promised land.
I'll take
It's
it.
like
dude.
cash
You see the
grab.
Cowboys
Yanks
now?
almost got to the
would
World
take it, yeah.
Series.
I can't believe they gave Parsons that number. 11, dude. That's Danny White.
He's not in a Ring of Honor? What a
how,
disgrace.
how can he not be?
I don't know.
He should
You
be.
were a Cowboy fan
What
as a youngster.
mobility he had in the pocket, too, Danny White. I mean, how many concussions do you think he's had in his career?
You take him or Sipe, gun to your head.
Oh, Brian Sipe.
Not even close.
Yes, the cardiac kids.
Oh, my God.
Come on.
That's one more-
Cardiac, because they give you a heart attack if you watch him, dude.
Ozzie Newsome.
Dahnfather.
Now, look at the weapons he had. Reggie Langmore.
White talk here.
That's Lamar Jackson said he had a poster of Danny White in his wall growing up. that was his role
Who
model.
didn't?
So
Who didn't?
he modeled his game after him.
Most of the world,
What are you trying to say?
Danny White wasn't very good.
All right, Danny White or Jaworski?
Jaworski.
Not even
the
Jaws.
rifle.
Not even
Jaws.
close.
Polish rifle.
I would disagree with Angry Jay on that one.
Not even close.
I agree with Angry Jay. And I don't
Nice.
like to do that, but
Speaking of disagreeing and big Super Bowl games and football games, and next week we're going to be watching Parker Porter knock out Tafa on
Yeah, can't
Saturday
wait.
night.
Can't
then we're
wait.
going to be eating pigs in blankets and nachos and pizza and buffalo chicken dip on Sunday. My good friend is having a party on 440 Village Street in Bristol. We're having a big Super Bowl bash over there. Anyway, let's
Everybody's
talk Super
welcome.
Bowls. Let's talk Super Bowls. We're going to go snake draft best Super Bowls of all time. Now, I went first last week, and I always love to move this around and make it fair.
so you say I get to go first?
Oh, no, it goes to Loddy, and we're going to go best Super Bowl game, like whatever.
Yeah, best Super
Bowl.
Bowl game, most entertaining, whatever you want to make it. So I'm leading off. I'll go. God, this was a heartbreaker for me, but Super Bowl 51 in 2016, when the Patriots beat the Falcons 34-28 in overtime.
that
Falcons were up 28-3
Now let's throw it.
in the second half and did not run the ball. If you remember, Brady threw for almost 500 yards, first overtime game in Super Bowl history.
Only one, right?
Yeah, and it was just watching it, you just knew it was going to happen. It was 3 passes, punt, touchdown Patriots, 3 passes, punt, touchdown Patriots. And by the time the Patriots on their last drive to force overtime, Atlanta had nothing to give on defense. If you remember, must have been on the field probably 75% of the time. You guys can look up the numbers. And then in overtime, Brady did his thing right down the field. And, so unfortunately, that was the best one I've seen.
Funny story about that game, Loddy, is I was in a survivor pool, which a lot of us are in. Mm-hmm. 2 guys left. It was a $10,000 win for first place. Mm-hmm. 2 guys left. One had Patriots, one had the Falcons, all the way to the Super Bowl. The guy who had the Falcons reached out to the guy in the Patriots because they were heavily favored. Said, let's split the pot. The guy who took the Patriots said, no chance. I'm not splitting anything with you. During halftime, the guy called the guy in the Falcons who had the Falcons, said, I'll split it with you. Guy in the Falcons said, no chance now.
That's a great story.
Five-figure payout.
Angry Jay, what do you got?
All right, so this came down to 2 for me. It's pretty simple for me, and I'll set the Dahnfather up for the one I know he'll take. But I got to go Super Bowl 52. I mean, Philadelphia 41, New England 33. Big Richard Foles with an unbelievable performance. Brandon Graham with the strip sack. Zach Ertz with the touchdown, and the city gets their first Super Bowl. Hopefully, they could add to it this Sunday.
Philly special?
The Philly special, one of the iconic plays in Super Bowl history. And I'm a homer, so I'll admit it. But that was an incredible game that we happened to win. I'll go Super Bowl.
When you say
52.
we, are you on the Eagles?
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't realize you played.
That's right. If you like are devoted to them, you can say we. Like if you want to know who they sign as their 4th-string right tackle that's going to get cut a week later, you can say we.
Entertainment value for that game was unbelievable.
Thank you.
You could not turn it off.
Thank you.
I'm going to go with, I was going to say Super Bowl XXV because I don't know how to read Roman numerals. I had to have my 12-year-old try to help me with that. But 25, the wide right. That's all you got to say, right? 2 words, wide right. I'm a Giants fan. Great game, 20-19. I mean, if anybody remembers that game, Giants played a 2-5 defense. I mean, that was unbelievable. 2 down linemen, 5 linebackers, because Buffalo's offense was so talented with Machine Gun Kelly and Thurman Thomas and Andre Reed. It was great. But that was
the K-Gun.
I think the Giants had 40 minutes of possession
over
time,
40,
right?
yeah.
What was it, over 40?
They couldn't even really stop them. They just didn't give them the ball.
It was like between the 20s, you know. It was,
I just remember
scoring.
how good Thurman Thomas was that game, too.
Who was I was trying to think of this the other day. Who was the wide receiver that caught the short pass? It was like late in 3rd quarter, beginning of the 4th, that broke like 1 million tackles to get the first down. You remember?
No, that wasn't Lionel Manuel, was it?
No, he was 86. I think it was like number 82. I think he had
82.
had a kid that played.
Baker was 85.
Ingram.
Yes, that's
Ingram.
what it was. Yes,
Mark Ingram.
Yeah,
And that's what's his nuts' his father, right?
yeah.
Mark
You
Ingram.
remember the play?
Family show.
YouTube it later.
Ingram. Who sang the national anthem, Dahnfather?
I was
Is
going
that
to
Whitney Houston?
Yeah.
Emotional times for our
Yeah,
country.
that was a huge. Yeah, I was
Yeah, it
gonna
only
mention
took 3.5 minutes, so
I don't care. That could have taken 10
took
minutes.
the over on that one.
Bobby Brown couldn't be reached for comment. Ended up smoking her kneecaps
All
off.
right, let's
But
go.
anyway, all right.
Let's go.
All right, so
What just happened there?
no, don't worry about it.
Oh,
I
okay.
gotta go. I gotta go Super Bowl 12. For this reason, Cowboys against the Broncos. I was a little one, and they did a flea flicker, and
They did?
Golden Richards caught the tutty. So I got Golden Richards catching a tutty, and Butch, the California kid, Johnson, with the best celebration of all time in the end zone. We had guys like Robert Newhouse on 3rd down, Preston Pearson making plays. That Cowboy team was a juggernaut. I got to take that one as
They
my first.
they were
that catch, the Butch Johnson one
Would not be
not even
a
close
catch
to a catch
today.
nowadays.
Max back to back, right?
Yeah, they made up for it with Dez. You know, guy catches the ball, takes 5 steps, rolls in the end zone, spikes it, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't have it." Freaking spiked it.
I never heard that story.
Incomplete.
Yeah, well, whatever. We win Super Bowls over here, Loddy.
What millennium are you in?
Okay.
Let's go. Back to back.
All right, next. Super Bowl 27. The boys.
I'm sensing a pattern here.
The boys put it on them. You know, in one of the best rivalries of all time, the Bills, Cowboys for 3 years straight. The boys put it on him pretty good that day. That was the Don Beebe game. If you remember, Leon Lett being a jerk. He was a jerk twice. I don't know if you remember
against Miami. Yes, I do.
That was on Thanksgiving Day.
In the snow.
In the snow. Yeah. So I thought that was one of the most dominating Super Bowl performances of all time. So I'm taking the boys. And I'm not doing it just because, they were Cowboys, but
that was a riveting Super Bowl.
The beginning of the dynasty.
Had to watch that one to the end to see if they covered.
Well, first of all, let me go back to the Broncos game. I mean, they got Drew Pearson and Tony Hill, and these other guys are freaking catching tutties.
We're going back to that one.
Come on. And then this was a dominant performance.
This was a dominant performance.
Dahnfather, what do you got?
I'm not like Mac. I'm not a homer, so I'm going to go Super Bowl 42 where the Giants win 17-14.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, helmet catch.
Mike McKay's help
I like to pick all these games with, wide right, helmet catch. Thank goodness for everybody who doesn't like the Patriots that ruined the perfect season, because the Patriots were one of the most dominant teams I've ever seen that year. Yeah. And they can only be stopped by Big Blue and the most underrated quarterback in NFL history with the helmet catch. So I am going with us Super Bowl 42, 17-14, New York Giants.
Ed Too Tall Jones over Charlie Morton. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
All right, I'll get off the. Obviously, this is the Homer Super Bowl Mount Rushmore that we're going through. I'll break that and actually go to real games that were exciting. As a little kid, you always remember Super Bowls, and I'll never forget this one. Steelers, Cowboys in Super Bowl 13, where they were the best teams.
Crap.
For an era.
Great game.
The
sickest man in America.
Yeah, 35-31, Steelers won it. Bradshaw with a great performer, Staubach, pretty much is equal through it. Came down to one play late in the game, and you guys will remember it.
Sickest man in America.
Jackie Slater.
Jackie Smith.
Who's Slater?
He was a defensive lineman for the Rams.
Awesome.
But Jackie Smith was kind of turned into Jackie
78.
Slater was 78.
No, I'm talking about
Jackie Smith 81? No, 80.
It was 85.
Could have been. Anyway, he was the sickest man in
I know
America.
the ball hit him right between the 8 and the other number.
He kind of turned into the NFL version of Bill Buckner. But an unbelievable game. First time a losing team had scored over 30 points.
That's the first one I remember, too, just the magnitude of it. And those were the two big teams back then. And
I got a question
about Stallworth and Swan stuff.
I got a question about Swan.
So good.
Was he that good? Was
Yes.
he better than Stallworth, or did he just happen to make the acrobatic play more often?
That's a good question. I don't know. That's the catches, or some of the catches he made were unbelievable. It was such a different era. It's hard. You
They
look
didn't
at the
throw the
stats,
ball
he had
around as much
40,
back then,
60,
yeah.
40 to 60 catches in a year.
Did they have Franco and Rocky Blyer
Yes.
in the back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yep. And the defense, obviously, was
Stallworth,
dominant.
Ham, Lambert.
Mean Joe
who was-
Green,
I met
Elsie
Mean
Green.
Joe Green one time.
Really?
Yeah.
But
Actually
anyway.
bothered the crap out of him while he was eating his breakfast.
I like
but
that.
whatever.
I like that pick. And I'm going to go
That was a great
number Super Bowl 23, 1988. Just because I feel like I just watched every play and was drawn to the game, and Montana bringing them down the field late when the Niners beat the Bengals 20-16, the John Taylor score.
It was Crumwell got hurt that game, right?
Yeah, on the first play or something.
Terrible.
34 seconds left. Taylor caught it, but it was the first time I really said, "Holy cow, this guy Jerry Rice is unbelievable."
Holy
he had
moly.
over 200 receiving yards, and I just remember him running the.
He was
running
MVP
the
of that
fi-
game, right?
Yeah, he was MVP, and they just couldn't stop him.
Holy moly.
Holy moly!
The 49ers were one of
What's
the.
going on with the holy moly thing?
No, he was. He was fantastic. No.
He
I
was
think that's a good pick.
17. They went 17-2 to 49ers.
What's so funny,
that year.
Dahnfather? I'll jump over there and I'll
Mac, the host.
That 49er team should be considered one of the best teams of all time. 17-2 that year.
You guys don't agree that was one of the best Super Bowls of all time?
That was my top 10, 100%. That was a great game. I mean, to have John Taylor as your number 2 is it's pretty
It was
good.
just a great game. You're up. You got another one. You're going back to back.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, he's
I'm
back
up.
to back?
Yeah.
I'm up. Again, this one hurts. 2014 Super Bowl 49. Just run the ball to Lynch, please, Pete Carroll. Just run the ball to Lynch, and the game is over. And then maybe Seattle's got a little something going in terms of a mini dynasty.
That would have been back to back, right?
Yeah, it would have been back to back. Just again, you got to give it the beast mode. That was a great game, and just the reaction on Brady's face when they decided to throw the ball. He was in shock on the sidelines.
How about Richard Sherman? Do you remember his?
Yeah, everybody's throwing their
Hilarious.
helmet over there. And in terms of entertainment value, it was a great game, well-played game. Unfortunately, it didn't go the way that I would have liked it, but it was a good Super Bowl.
The
I was
Seahawks.
sitting next to a Patriot fan, an obnoxious one, my attorney. Dude, I was pretending to root for him.
Criminal attorney?
Oh, yeah. And here's the thing. How many other runners in the history of football would you rather have had in that situation than Marshawn Lynch?
Not many.
I mean, Campbell,
They weren't stopping him
right?
from. They weren't stopping him from the 1 yard line. You threw a slant at the 1.
That's why you think of
I mean, Mayfield doesn't even do that.
end of games. Think of players. Think of players, not plays. You good? We moving on?
No, hold up. I want to go back to that. Like Carroll. Do you remember when he did the thing when he was with the Jets and he did the choke sign
Yeah.
or whatever?
Yeah.
Now, as great as he was and is, and USC and the Seahawks, he's one of the best, right? Undisputable.
Ran a clean program at USC.
Doesn't matter. Would you? If you had all those resources, would you run a clean program?
Absolutely.
No way in
Stuff
hell. You
by the
get
book.
Snoop Dogg coming in there for,
It's like guys like us would never last. We'd be fired.
I would. I'd do it.
dude.
I couldn't do it.
Who was the running back with Reggie Bush, the bigger, thicker guy?
Lendale White.
Lendale White. Yep.
Hey, decent NFL career. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, point being, Karma coming back to get Carroll. Like
Just
you
tried
said,
to get too cute.
Yeah, just give it to your best player, dude. Anyway, moving on. I will take. I'm up, correct?
You are.
Yes. Can't believe this one's still available. Not a Steeler fan, but I will take Super Bowl 43. Steelers Cardinals 27-23 final.
Santonio.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't.
The
this is
plays down the stretch. of
Me
that
going
game.
off the top of my head, Larry Fitzgerald with an unbelievable performance, but the James Harrison interception return at the end of the half,
Right up
like
there.
100 yards, and Holmes' catch in the corner of the end zone, probably two of the greatest plays in Super Bowl history, and two of the top five, in one game. But a great game. Down, Holmes scored with like 40 seconds to go.
They just felt there was another 30 seconds. Warner might have been able to bring it back down the field.
Especially
and
the
score a
way
touchdown.
Fitzgerald was
They
playing
couldn't
that
guard
season.
Fitzgerald, yeah.
He scored 3 against the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. I'm still a little upset about that.
How about Big Ben?
Big Ben was, as much as I didn't like him, he was pretty clutch in that game.
Second best quarterback in his draft class. I'm going to go with Super Bowl III. Going old school. Super Bowl III. That's Broadway
Broadway?
Joe, guaranteeing the win. But I wouldn't say entertainment value. I wasn't really moving around watching much football at that point in my life. But to guarantee it, kind of, it's a little shady, right? A lot of people thought the fix was in. NFL wanted to get the AFL and after the merger, get them on the map. But still, to guarantee a win and go out and deliver 16-7 against the Colts, probably one of the most famous, quotes with him guaranteeing a victory in the history of the Super Bowl. So I am going Super Bowl III for my number 3 pick.
There's only one TD in that game, or by the Jets, right?
Yeah.
Was it
One by each team.
Yeah, Namath didn't even throw a touchdown pass. But you're right. I mean, for just the merger part of it, for the NFL.
Yeah, significance-wise.
Yeah.
Mac, you are going back to Mac right now.
I'm up.
You are up, my friend. He has 2, right, Angry?
I'm going to go 41. Peyton's first one. I believe. Was that his first one? He won one for each team, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe in the championship game,
The Bears.
Bettis had a bad fumble late in that game to put him in the Super Bowl. And then did Hester return that?
The opening kickoff.
Opening kickoff.
Because
Yep.
people won a lot of weird bets on that one. And then I was just happy that probably one of the best athletes, smartest athletes, guy who was the coach of the team no matter who was the coach, guy who was the OC no matter who was the OC. And I really wish this guy would get into coaching. But I was happy to see Peyton get that one. And I'll take that game just because Hester, Hester had people wondering if they could hang on with the early score there, and then Peyton took care of business.
Mac, that's your number 1. You got your final pick coming up.
I don't remember the number of my next one. You guys got to help me, but it's Elway.
Always first.
This one's for John. Remember with Terrell Davis?
Yeah.
And I think there was a Connecticut guy on defense. Did they have Romanowski at the time?
I think it was
Yeah.
Super Bowl
32?
32 in 1997. Yeah.
31-24.
Wow, that's that long ago. So just have an affinity for those guys that managed their teams that long and didn't get a sniff, and they were that good. And both of them are that good. I mean, we did our quarterback thing, and both guys were mentioned, and I'll take Peyton's first and Elway's first. And Elway got a little assist for with Terrell Davis that year because he was a stud. But he had some weapons that are like low-key, maybe not Hall of Fame, but they're definitely in the Hall of really good, like the Rod Smiths type of guys.
You also had Shannon Sharp, obviously, right?
Shannon Sharp. Did he win with both? Did he win
Both
with
teams.
Yeah. Dude,
Remember-
I love Shannon Sharp. Did you ever see that sweater he wore? That was a sweet sweater.
You remember the hit in that game was Steve Atwater hit
Yeah.
Robert Brooks and knocked him into tomorrow?
Yeah,
It was
and
unbelievable.
he knocked Robert Brooks out, one of his teammates, and himself out, all in the same,
Same
play.
play.
Yeah, 3 guys were like in La La Land.
That was a game where Elway got spun in the air, right?
Yes, but like in today's NFL, none of those guys would have been able to finish. I don't think. I think they all came back in. By the way,
Did they?
yes,
Hey,
Yeah.
no, I mean, the
20-something years later,
most
yes.
famous Atwater hit?
Christian Okoye.
Who hit who?
Atwater hit him.
Yeah. What a collision.
Yep.
You're wrapped up, Mac. That was yours. I'm going to go with my last pick.
four. I got the best four.
I was really torn. I'm going to go Super Bowl 38 just, again, for entertainment value. I don't like the Patriots.
That's a good one.
But 32-29, I mean, what
was
a
a good
great
game.
game to watch back and forth. You also had, by the way, the longest touchdown in Super Bowl history of that game. Jake Delhomme, 85-yarder to who?
Bush Muhammad.
Jake Delhomme.
Again,
It was like 6-3 at halftime, wasn't it? The second half.
yeah,
I don't-
all second half
Yeah,
points.
yeah.
All that was just fun to watch.
I think first and third quarter there were no points. Something crazy like that. Yeah.
So no historical significance, just a great game to watch.
It
Much
was a
like the
great game.
Patriots
The
Falcons game. back there.
significance was the halftime show.
Who was it?
That was
Justin Timberlake and Janet
Vinatieri.
Jackson.
Wardrobe
Oh, it was
malfunction?
the
Malfunction?
FCC. The FCC.
You can't have a
yeah.
malfunction.
Can't have a malfunction.
Vinatieri field goal at the end too, right?
Yep, Vinatieri.
Like
Like
against the
always.
Rams. All right, I'll go with Super Bowl 39. The greatest show on turf played the Titans.
Oh, Dyson.
Yeah,
Stretch?
It was 16 point lead for the Rams in the second half, and the Titans came back. I mean, Eddie George was phenomenal in the second half. Not to be denied again in the end zone. Actually, I think
That
his knee hit
surge,
the
that
ground, but
surge.
like, he had an unbelievable run that actually should have been down. And then I don't know if you guys remember, like the last drive, McNair scrambling and like 4 guys, like bouncing off of 4 guys, just refusing to be tackled. He threw one inside the 5, and then the last play of the game, the slant to Dyson, where he's tackled literally 1 yard short.
Yep.
Like,
Does anyone remember who made that tackle?
Robert Jones.
Yeah, it was
Maybe.
Yeah,
Oh, good call. Loddy. Look at you.
an unbelievable
After
game.
a St. Paul W,
Loddy,
you're
Loddy.
wide awake in the
Oh, I
morning.
was up at 2:30 this morning
I know.
looking at some
You
stuff.
finally
Game
won.
planning? Game planning?
No,
3 and
I don't
18?
know about that, man. We're not 3 and 18, by
No,
the way.
I'm kidding.
Better
Hey,
days are ahead.
You know what? That was an amazing game, and it was the first time, as you know, you start to feel old a little bit, and
Well, you are old, so just
No, but
put that out there.
that game,
We're
I
all
remember the lovely and talented Sue was asleep. I think we were living in Newington at the time. Like, that game seemed like it ended at like 1 in the morning, dude. Can they play the game a little earlier? Can we get it 1 hour earlier?
No, how about
Put it on a
just,
Saturday.
no? How about we just get rid of like the ridiculous halftime stuff?
That's why a lot of people tune in. The
Angry.
non-fans.
The
tune in.
wives.
That's where you get your ratings.
The wives.
That's where we.
They lock in. We
I'll
go
start-
get more
listen,
wings.
I'll
Get ready,
I love
Rihanna,
the
baby,
halftime
Rihanna.
game.
I'll start
When
going
are
to
you
more.
gonna-
I'll
that's
go to
the
more
perfect time
Rihanna
to get
concerts.
more wings.
At halftime, they have the Eagles played the Chiefs halfway through a Rihanna concert. I'll go to some of those things. Jesus, let's go. We got one more.
All right, I'm up. Last one. I got.
How about the Browns when they won it?
Yeah, the Browns wanted. I'll tell you, Otto Graham. What a game he had. That.
Remember when Sipe led him?
No, I don't
to the
remember.
promised
I don't
land?
remember
He
when
went to
Sipe did
Disney
that
World
because it didn't
even-
happen.
Mike
I'll
Davis.
tell you, Jim Brown was pretty good back in the
Fantasy
50s.
fan, dude.
I'll go Super Bowl 47, 2012.
That's a good
Ravens 34-31 over the Niners. If you guys remember, there was a power outage
35
at the Superdome. Niners were down 28-6 in the third quarter. But they did just Ravens did just enough to hold off Colin Kaepernick. What a name.
Brother versus brother, right?
Colin Kaepernick, Flacco MVP, and obscure guy kind of Jacoby Jones. 290 all-purpose yards in that game. 290 all-purpose yards.
No,
but I just remember the comeback in the second half. Harbaugh on the sideline.
Both Harbaugh brothers.
Harbaugh brothers. That was a pretty entertaining second half. First half was awful, but the power outage and everything else after that, I'd say that was a pretty good game.
That was a great game.
Flacco had he turned that into a huge
It's a
contract.
$100 million game for him.
Yeah, him and Kaepernick, they're talking about like polar opposite quarterbacks.
Oh God, right.
Fun. When I was doing the research for the Super Bowl, as we all do, take our time and we're professionals, and we research. Super Bowl 10 was the Steelers 21-17 over the Cowboys. Great stat in that game. One guy total from either team ever played for another team in his career. One guy out of the 110 guys in the roster
Free agency.
ever
Obviously.
played for another team.
Get out of here.
I thought that was unbelievable. I looked at that stat. I thought that was pretty cool.
You couldn't make it a trivia question?
That is
Come
an
on,
incredible
Dahnfather.
stat. Is that true? Yeah. So back then there was 40-something guys on a roster.
I don't know.
So you're talking nobody else played for another team.
One guy.
Except one guy.
Bet it was a kicker.
They were hot commodities back then.
I'm not disputing you. If that is true, that's a hell of a stat.
All right, so I won another snake draft, Mount Rushmore. The boys, Manning and Elway.
I had a lot of Pats, just obviously rooting against them, but they played in some classic Super Bowls, I'll give you that.
There was a couple that we left
Jealous
off.
Browns fan.
I'll just throw them out real quick. Super Bowl 31, Packers and Pats with Desmond Howard with the returns. The Parcells had turned the Patriots
Drew
around because they were
Bledsoe.
horrific. Another one where the Pats actually lost. It wasn't a great game, but the Bears just absolutely crushing the Pats. It was like 46-10. They knocked the quarterback. Like the
Super Bowl
it was
shuffle.
it's one of the best football teams of all
Grogan?
time.
Absolutely.
Was that Grogan?
Yeah.
Ian and Eason.
Eason got knocked out,
Yeah.
and Grogan came in.
Grogan's neck roll was above his top of his
But the
helmet.
Bears' defense was total domination. And one other one out of the Raiders and the Redskins, I think it was Super Bowl 18 where the Raiders beat them. I think they were the Los Angeles Raiders at the time. They beat them like 38-9 with Marcus Allen with the
How about Jack
ridiculous-
Squire?
Jack Squire right before the half. But if people remember the Redskins
Sports
had
Illustrated cover.
were 14-2 and they were considered. They had I looked this up. They had a plus 46 turnover ratio. So it was like unbelievable. They were supposed to be unbeatable, and the Raiders just wiped them.
Marcus Allen making U-turns and scoring, yeah.
Jack Squire right before half and stuff.
Yep.
Rigo couldn't do it.
Love the
That
Super
wasn't
Bowl.
Timmy Smith, was it? No.
No, Timmy Smith was the Broncos
Yeah, you're right.
against the Broncos.
Hey, how about that Bears defense in '85? How about their offense? My cousin, Jimmy Mack.
Yeah, your cousin Jimmy
Can't even
Mack.
spell his name right now.
Couldn't give the ball to Peyton at the goal line one time.
Yeah,
No, they gave it to the
Dicka.
fridge.
Come on,
That was
man.
cool. That was cool.
Dicka screwed it up, but like Walter probably should have got over it since he played on some horrific Bears team and they were,
Willie Galt,
their whole defense though, the most
Brian
sacks ever.
Bashnagel, wide out.
Yep.
Hey, do you remember? Do you remember when Dicka, the interviews he would give when he was the coach of the Saints? Dude, they're like the best sound bites of all time. How's so and so? Who cares?
Next question.
So
Next question.
and so's hurt. Talk to the trainer. Right. All right.
It's time for Who'd You Rather?
Who'd you rather? Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees. Angry Jay. Who'd you take?
This was a tough one. More of a Drew Brees fan going into this, but looking at some of the stats, I'm taking Aaron Rodgers, and I'll tell you why. 10-time Pro Bowl, 4-time All-Pro, which we just covered. Like All-Pro is much different than Pro Bowl. Aaron Rodgers' record, he didn't even play his first 3 years. Like he sat behind Favre. His first 3 years.
Pretty cool, dude.
Yeah, so he didn't start playing until he was 25. His record right now is 147-75. He's won a Super Bowl, and you could get on it for only winning one Super Bowl. But they've always been in the mix. Before this season, where they went 8-9, they had 3 straight 13-3 seasons. they blew that game against the Seahawks. He had nothing to do with it. They were up by 10 late. They lost an onside kick. They never got the ball in overtime.
Did you say he had nothing to do with it?
He had nothing to do with the last few minutes of the game.
Oh.
When they were up 10, you're thinking they're winning. The Seahawks
Quarterback had nothing to do with the game.
He didn't do one
The
touchdown.
last few minutes of the
Special
game.
teams.
Throw
Come on.
2 touchdowns, you win.
It's hard to throw a touchdown when you don't have the ball, though. That's what I'm getting at. Like when you're down 10 and your defense gives a touchdown, then the onside kick it, and your backup tight end fumbles it, and then you give up a field goal, and then you lose the coin toss, and you give up a touchdown, and you're on the sideline for all 20 minutes.
Throw 2 touchdowns and you win.
Yeah. Or if you just recover an onside kick, it's a wrap, you know.
Guys.
But anyway, so 59,000 yards, his touchdown
Not his
interception, 475 touchdowns, to only 105 interceptions. I'll end
And
this
he's a
with-
cool guy. Go ahead.
That's the one problem is like he's a little grumpy now, but I don't know why people don't like grumpy guys. But so
I don't judge
the
anybody.
one thing over him, Breeze, that I have to go with, he's got 4 MVPs, and that's that makes you an all-timer in my opinion.
Team game.
I like
Team game.
Rodgers too because I'm not going to repeat all the stats because I see the same thing. All those numbers are phenomenal. 4-time MVP. Geez, 31 game-winning drives, 21 fourth quarter comebacks. I mean, the guy was phenomenal. Regardless of how you feel about him, I would agree. Rodgers slightly over Breeze, even though I liked Breeze better as a. I thought he was a little more entertaining for me.
But I'm gonna,
Dahnfather, you feel the same way?
I'm going to go with Breeze. I think if you said who was more talented, maybe you'd say Aaron Rodgers. But I think we're saying who had a better career. I think I'm going Drew Brees. I mean, 20,000 more passing yards, that's nothing to sneeze at.
That's it?
And they said Aaron Rodgers didn't start his first 3 years. Why? Because he wasn't better than the starting quarterback on the team.
Oh my God!
I mean, that's why he didn't start. The other quarterback was better. He was the second best quarterback on his team for 3 years. That's why he didn't start. I mean, Brees, 100 more touchdowns, 20,000 more passing yards. I mean, what else do you have to say?
Couldn't
It's-
beat out Phillip Rivers.
It wasn't a compiler either, by the way. That was stats every game. Every game the guy put up stats. I don't like him either. 25 passing yards a game, more than Aaron Rodgers over his career. So you can go over just game by game instead of compiling. 25 yards a game over his career, more than Aaron Rodgers. And again, I can't stand Rodgers. I can't stand Brees. But if you're going to have a better career, I mean, I'd have to go with Drew Brees. The one Super
Why
Bowl
can't you
each.
stand Breeze?
I don't know. He's just such a goody two-shoe. I think everybody likes him. He's a Disney guy. I don't know. It just didn't know. But by the way, he
they
did get
call me
I
hosed.
thought that's why you would like him.
He did get hosed out of another Super Bowl with clearly the worst non-pass interference call in the history of the NFL.
Oh,
They
my
made a rule
God.
change because of one particular play where they
I just
would
watched
have.
that highlight the other night.
throw a better pass.
It was off the
Better pass.
off the
It was a
defender's
dime.
back.
You know what I'm saying?
And then
Throw a better pass.
and then the Rams go on to score 3 points in the Super Bowl, which wouldn't have happened if Drew Brees was playing. But that I got to go Brees. Easy, Mac.
Maybe
well-
throw another touchdown before that.
Let's stay in the present. Let's focus on the present, not in the past. We're moving forward, Jay.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Mac.
Rodgers, unlikable guy, period.
No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about
Making
better
a
player.
point. Making a point.
Does that make him good or bad?
I didn't get there yet.
I mean, last week you told me
I'm
that
making
what
a point.
Coaches liked he's a good coach.
I'm making a point. Rodgers, unlikable guy. Breeze, likable guy. Rodgers got a little LeBron in him. He's in the news for stupid stuff. And, who cares, dude? Just shut up and throw touchdowns. And, I think he's ruined the franchise. I mean, he brought him back around this year a little bit. But, I mean, how do you let Davante Adams walk away? I mean, what is that?
He's not the general manager.
He ruined the franchise.
Yes, he is. All these guys that are the quarterback, Aaron Rodgers couldn't keep him there. Bottom line, here's why I think Breeze is better. I mean, he's obviously got better statistics, and he overcame, given his challenges in the height department. He's tiny, and he was one of the best ball throwers of all time. He made receivers. Those guys stink. Colston and all these
Yeah,
chumps.
it's terrible.
He made receivers, and I love his dynamic ability at that size. Is he much bigger than Flutie? And he becomes that type of
He's
passer.
listed at 6 feet, right? I mean, but I don't
Come
think he
on,
was.
man. I'll take Breeze all day long. So here's what
Rodgers
happened.
ruined the franchise. That's strong.
How did they let that guy go? All right.
Rodgers.
Who would you rather? We're going to talk triplets. Aikman, Smith, and Irvin, or Peyton, Edger and James, Marvin? Go.
The Dallas trio.
I'll go Indianapolis.
Of course you will.
Will agree with Angry Jay and go with Indianapolis.
It's funny.
You guys
are
don't
funny.
even listen to the question. You just hear Cowboys and that's it, right?
You guys are funny.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
My second
This
favorite
coming
team,
from the guy that picked four, the Dallas over Denver, 27-10, best Super Bowl of all time.
All right. Shut up. All right. So, Niners, Montana, Craig, Rice, or Young, Waters, should have won a Heisman, Owens.
I'll go with Craig, Rice, and Joe.
I'll go with anyone that has Rice. Montana Rice.
I don't like to agree with Angry, but I agree with him this
Best
one.
NFL player of all time, probably, no?
I'm going to take Young, Waters, and Owens just because Steve Young is a Connecticut boy, nutmegger. Cunningham or McNabb?
Cunningham.
Angry Jay's going to seize right now. He's going to start shaking.
I take Donovan.
I'll take McNabb.
I take Randall.
I love Randall.
Loved watching Randall, but Donovan was better, I think.
Who were Randall's two guys? A.J. Burnett and Calvin Williams? Is it
Calvin Williams and Fred Barnett.
Fred Barnett?
Keith,
What'd I say?
Keith
A.J.
Byers running the ball. Number
From-
41, Ohio
From-
State.
yeah. And Seth Joyner, the linebacker on that team, also
Clyde
from Ohio
Simmons.
State.
Yeah, all those guys.
All right. Elway or Manning? What are you shaking your head at?
Seth Joyner's not from Ohio State.
He's not? Where's he from?
UTEP.
How do you know?
I follow the Eagles. Went to Spring Valley High School in New York,
Says
too.
we. Oh, Jesus.
What middle school
What's
did
his
you go
favorite
to?
color?
I don't know, but he was one bad SOB. Number
59?
59.
In elementary school, man, during kickball, he
He
was
was
always taking
dominant.
first.
I know they had another Ohio State guy. Was it the tight end?
Keith Jackson?
No, he went to
was from
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
I know they had an Ohio.
Where did he go to high school? Oh.
Oh, Jesus. Where did he go to elementary school? What'd you say? Elway, Manning.
Manning.
Which meaning?
Either one. Either one.
Either. See,
The
that's right.
Manning.
I'll actually go. I'll go Elway here. If he played in today's era, that he's pretty much Patrick Mahomes, and I love Manning.
I'm going to give a slight nod to Manning.
Go
Slight.
Manning all day long. Just Big East career. Okay. Mutombo, Thabit.
Dikembe.
I'll go Mutombo also.
I'll go Thabit.
I'll go with Thabit too.
He wore like Levi's when he played, didn't he? Things were so
and a
long.
turtleneck.
Shorts.
He wore Carhartts.
Was he third overall?
Look like
in the
Tyson
draft?
out there.
Second overall. What a career.
Those shorts were unbelievable.
Second overall pick.
All right, let's
Wow.
get serious. Skygazer or Firefly?
Skygazer.
All day?
Easily. 100%.
Not speaking from a lot of experience, but I'll go Skygazer. I'll go those guys coming through for us.
It's, as the only, I'd
I'm
say,
sorry, I said we again. I'm not allowed to say that.
aficionado at this booth, it's not even close.
Where's
It's
the
a
residuals
no-brainer.
from the
Skygazer all
sponsorship?
day.
Still waiting.
Skygazer or Clocktown Brewing?
I'm going Skygazer. Our guy is Skygazer. You can compare it to any other place. It doesn't matter.
Mount Rushmore right there.
Loyalty first.
That's a good call, Angry. Skygazer's on the Mount Rushmore of craft beers. Absolutely.
I'm going Gazer. All right. Tyler Hansborough, college career only, or the guy Garza from Iowa. Is it Luca?
That's a good one. Luca Garza. Ooh.
I'll go.
Go ahead.
Hansborough. And I was not a fan of him, but unbelievable career. Unbelievable.
I will say Hansborough had one of the best college careers, and Garza just got better every year, but Hansborough throughout his career was better, I think.
I couldn't stand either one of them, but I'll go Garza on this one. We just went over that Big Ten.
Yeah.
Mount Rushmore. He was on my
He
team. He
was
was unbelievable.
impressive.
I got to say, Psycho T was a hell of a college player. Didn't like him. Didn't like either one of those two. 40 Minutes of Hell, Arkansas Razorbacks, or the Amoeba, UNLV?
Oh, that's a good one.
I like just the style that Arkansas played. It was like the Georgetown of the early 80s, and I like the full court pressure. So I'll go Nolan Richardson squad.
That's a tough one. I'll agree with Loddy there with the just the nickname, the 40 minutes of hell and the constant pressure.
Better nickname, but I like the Amoeba. It was more fun to watch, I think.
I'm gonna take the Amoeba, but they were
The team
at
was
that
better. That
time
team
in
was
our
better.
life. That was a sick team. I guess now they would call that a matchup zone,
Yeah,
but
just
that Amoeba
matchups.
was sick.
When Stacey Ogman,
Can we name
anywhere,
the
he was-
5 for Arkansas and UNLV?
UNLV was LJ, Ogman, Anderson, Hunt, Anthony, and they rotated their big. Was it
Ackles or Butler?
Scully,
Ackles
Ackles,
or
and
Butler.
those kind of guys. And what was the other one?
Oh, Scurry. You meant Rod Scurry.
Scurry.
No, and then Arkansas. I mean
Scotty Thurmond.
Williamson.
Lee Mayberry.
No, Lee
Mayberry.
Mayberry. That's what I was thinking of. Thurman.
I couldn't go
Was
5.
Todd Day already gone?
Yes.
No, he was
still-
there.
he was
Yeah,
He was
still
there
there.
at
He was
certain
there.
points, yeah. Drafted by the Celtics.
picturing one white guy. I don't know if I'm right about that.
Day.
that was, I think, a trainer.
Thurman,
Knock it
Williamson.
off.
I don't. We could look it up after before we
All right,
sign off.
whatever. Let's go another
I
college.
think we did pretty good off the top of our heads right
Another
there.
college defensive scheme. Okay, Jim Boeheim's zone or Bob Knight's man-to-man.
Jim Boeheim zone.
Don't even finish the question. Bernie Fine's zone.
Jeffy went to the camp. Couldn't sit down on the way home.
Long ride home. A lot of bumps.
I'll go. I go night zone sucks.
Listen, you know
Zone
I'm a
sucks.
general guy, and he was help side defense, just with a lot of non-athletes. I'll go to general.
All right, when you're a kid, or now if you're a teacher, 2-hour delay or early dismissal
Early dismissal,
all day.
Dismissal.
because I'm up anyway. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Doesn't
dismissal. If
affect
I'm a
me.
kid, dismissal.
I'm sleeping in.
We know.
Oh, really? All right. Anybody here like fried dough?
Yes.
Sauce or sugar?
Sauce.
Sauce.
All of you?
A layup.
Sweet
That's a,
sauce.
That's
Sweet.
a layup.
I'm Italian.
I'll go sauce too. Hey, speaking of sauce or Darius Slay? Gun to your head, quick.
Sauce.
Oh my guy. He's got a big.
Sauce.
He's got a big Sunday coming up.
I like the guy from the Jets.
All right,
Yeah.
we're going to wrap it up here on February 5th, 2023. Angry Jay is going to be so angry next week.
Why is that?
Patty Mahomes going to get put a whooping on the Eagles. We did neglect the Big Blue report because they can't win right now. We're not going to talk about that. Real quick word on Rutgers. What does that put us up to record-wise?
We are 16-7 overall, 8-4 in the league.
So
Number
wins this
2
week,
overall.
Wins this week over Minnesota.
We beat Minnesota. We won at the Garden yesterday. Won a rock fight.
Home game at the Garden.
Home game at the Garden.
That's cool. Although they did take it over, it seemed, right?
Yeah, I would say, 85% red from all reports. So
Izzo pouting all the way back.
no, but
to,
Izzo
Sparty.
loves Rutgers and he loves Coach Pico. I mean, he always talks very highly about. He would love to have that roster. He always says it.
Recruit better.
Yeah, So speaking of recruits, another under the radar guy, that Scarlet Knight juggernaut on defense, underappreciated, undervalued, not known player. They suffered an injury yesterday. We don't have the official word, but if Moat Mag is out for substantial time, gonna need other guys to step up, right? Who do you got, Mike?
Well, Hyatt's going to step up. They might go small with Simpson. Palmquist played quite a bit yesterday in his absence. So
How about the big post player to reserve? Wolfork?
Wolfork, I mean, all hands on deck. That's why you have depth, and that's why you recruit the way that you recruit. And you know what? Every team deals with injuries, and Rutgers has been fortunate in the recent history not to deal with some big ones, but they'll overcome it because they have a good coaching staff and they got tough players.
Don't rule out the walk-ons, too, because they had a big walk-on bucket this week, and Coach Pico couldn't have been happier for the kid.
Yeah, he looked thrilled on the sideline when he hit that shot.
Good for everybody. Might be able to use them. So,
Super Bowl picks?
real quick, who you got? I mean, Chiefs, no doubt. No spread. Who you taking?
Chiefs.
What is the spread?
2.
2.5?
Two Chiefs
Okay,
are getting
whatever.
2.
Given?
No, getting.
Getting 2? I'll take the Chiefs all day. Against that team?
I like the Chiefs to win.
Quarterback couldn't even start.
Rooting for the Eagles,
This
though.
is not
High school
this
or
is not an
college.
angry Jay bias. I think the Eagles are going to win. I do. I think their defense is tough.
Angry Jay.
The Eagles are winning. Better team.
How?
Better. The offensive line is the best unit in football. In entire football, they have better running backs, better receivers. They got the X factor with Mahomes. As long as we kind of control him, we got a great shot.
It's easier said than done, though, right?
Correct.
I'm rooting for the
Correct.
Eagles.
Best player. He's the best player in football, in my opinion.
Remember the father?
Yep.
I remember watching him pitch for the Twins.
Twins. Blue Jays too, I believe. Maybe.
Patrick Mahomes.
Hope he sucks
Yeah,
this
I'm
Sunday.
pretty sure he bounced around a little bit.
Okay, Sky Games of Brewing. Thanks for coming, everybody. Need some comments. Angry Mike McKayza, Jamie Leggett, get on there. Kenny Naylor, bring it. How are the Niners doing? Good night, everybody.